All right. Welcome to Two Man Congress. I'm your host, Chad, and let's hop into it. So, to begin this episode, we're going to be talking about a quick little announcement Will and I have. So, Patreon, Will and I are ecstatic, in fact, to announce that till April 30th, anyone that signs up between now and then, the first 2 months of payments will go to refugees across the world. This is in light of the Russia-Ukraine situation. So if you want to help those refugees, please feel free to donate to Patreon. And if you still want to help Will and I out after those first 2 months, we'll be more than happy to have you as part of our family, the Patreon family. So for the next until April 30th, your first 2 months will be those payments will go to refugees across the world. So let's hop into it. So this is going to be an interesting episode. I'm pretty excited to talk about it. And this takes place back in 2018 between November. All the articles that were written about it that I was reading in preparation for this episode was between November 8th and December 3rd, 4th. That's when all the different news articles in Britain, like the BBC, were writing about this particular court case. So let's hurry and hop into it. So in 2018, there is a 69-year-old Dutchman by the name of Emil Ratelband, who's a Dutchman, and he wanted to change his age, making himself 20 years younger, which would put his legal documentation at 49 years of age. You might ask yourself, why did Mr. Ratelband want to change his age? And he gave two reasons that stand out to me when I was reading the case. The first one was he felt that the dating world wasn't accepting him, especially he found it very hard to match with people on the dating app Tinder. And he describes that the lack of dating for his age was a result of ageism, which is when someone discriminates against someone based upon age. And he quoted himself. Well, I'll just hurry and quote him real fast. This is what he said. "We live in a time when you can change your name and gender. Why can't I change my age?" So that's the question that he poses to the court as he's trying to change his age 20 years younger to 49. Mr. Ratelband also feels that it is hard to find a job and that he would be more than happy to lose his pension in the result that he's able to change his age and receive higher pay. He also claims that the doctors have also dubbed his body to be that of 45 years old, so it makes sense. And I actually watched a few clips of him because back in 2018 when all this was happening, this was actually a really popular story. So he was on a ton of different news organizations. I actually saw him talking to a gender activist and saying that it was insulting that he was comparing age to gender and how trying to change your age was insensitive and all that stuff. So he does actually look younger than 70, because I'm just going to round up to 70 because that's about where he's at in his life. But I'm not going to argue whether or not he should have got the name, his age changed 20 years younger or not. But I saw him making all those different arguments over those different news articles. So let's go into what the court decided. The court disagreed with Mr. Ratelband. They said Mr. Ratelband is at liberty to feel free, to feel 20 years younger than his real age, and to act accordingly. The judge also said, but changing his legal documents would have undesirable legal and societal implications. The court also said that the rights and obligations are also attached to age. For example, the right to vote, the right to marry, the opportunity to drink alcohol, and to drive a car. So the court decided that because of all the implications and all the different ways we check our lives off, a changing age would really rattle the way that we look at society and how society would run. So the court decided not to let Mr. Rattleband get his desired result in changing his age. Let's just talk a little bit about why this matters to us in the USA, because this did take place in Europe. And the reason why this is applicable to America is because we see a steady trend that as we see our neighbors in Europe, Canada, Mexico, there seems to be a trend that the U.S. slowly follows those kind of trends and will soon adopt them to our own legal system. So, and also for anyone going to law school, you may look at cases in the UK where they'll have you look at that, study it, and our laws are pretty similar to that of the UK. So that's why this is applicable to America, and that's why I'm talking about it. So this is just another story time with Chad. Let me know if you want me to continue doing this series. I love doing them. Researching all these different court cases are really fun, especially when they involve 69-year-old men that want to change their age to 49. So just remember, Patreon, we are donating to refugees that are in need for the first 2 months of payments starting and ending on if you sign up before April 30th. So thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Law Schoolers. Before I let you go, there are 4 things I want to say. The first thing is if you enjoyed these episodes and if you enjoyed the website, I would invite you to go and join Law Schoolers Pro. And you can do that by going to lawschoolers.com/join. It's a way for you to support us, but there's also a lot of features there that I think you will enjoy. Second thing is that nearly all of our episodes are unedited. The only ones that aren't are pre-law materials, and the reason for that is so you can actually see the legal material in its raw form as I'm learning it as well. The third thing is that the information contained in these episodes are specifically only for educational purposes. They're not to be used as legal advice, and with that, the fourth thing is if it is used as legal advice, we are not liable. That is, Law Schoolers is not liable for any legal outcomes. Thank you again for enjoying the show. Have a good one.